Welcome to another episode of Toot Your Own Horn Music Matters. I am here with Maria Torres Melgares. Welcome, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. And we would love to have you tell your story. Tell us how you found your instrument.
So my grandpa used to play saxophone, guitar, and E-flat clarinet. And since I was very young, I was exposed to him. He mostly played guitar, but he also sometimes played saxophone, and I think I really loved it since I was very young. And yeah, I think that's how I got the interest in saxophone, I guess.
So E-flat clarinet was just a little too squeaky for you, eh?
Yeah, I actually never heard him play, only sometimes, but I truly don't know why he had an E-flat clarinet and not a B-flat clarinet.
Yeah, well, that happens. Well, you know this. That saxophone, it's like you get hooked on soprano or you wind up playing Barry or,
Yeah, yeah,
like that.
interesting.
Something comes your way and it becomes your thing.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So it got you started and it got you through high school. When did the lights go on and when you said, oh, I'm going to be like, this is my life. I want to play the saxophone. When did that?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years before college. So when I was around 16, I'm from Spain, so I grew up in Spain, and I went to music school, which is not how it works in the US.
Mhm.
So we don't do marching band. We just, if you're a kid that's interested in music, you have to tell your parents, and they're gonna sign you up for a music school, conservatory, however we want to call it.
There's no rental programs there.
Sorry again?
You don't rent instruments there. It's not like a rental system. It's not like every kid goes through music. You have to say, you have to elect to do it. And then you have to go to a special place.
Yeah, and like we generally start when we're like 9 or 10 years old, and after the first year, you're already doing music theory, choir, band. I did saxophone quartet since I was like 11 years old, maybe. So it was pretty intense. You either love it or hate it, I think. And I think I was going through high school. I also got a scholarship in chemistry, so I was between chemistry and music, funny enough. Uh, and I think I realized that I don't belong in a lab by myself, repeating the same experiment during multiple years. And at the same time, I was in a saxophone ensemble in my conservatory, and we had this incredible concert we went to where it became my undergrad in Barcelona. And I really felt it. And I was like, okay, I think this is gonna be my future. And I guess here I am.
And where is here? What happened then? After that, when you committed, where did you go to school?
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in Barcelona. It's called the Superior Conservatory of Liceu. And then I did my master's at U of M at Michigan in Ann Arbor. And now I'm finishing my doctorate at the University of Iowa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you teaching?
Yes, I'm teaching at Simpson College. I'm an adjunct there. And I used to be the teaching assistant here at the University of Iowa.
Mm-hmm. And your goal is to be a university professor to teach saxophone?
Yeah, I would love to become a full-time university professor and keep a balance between performing. Also, I love arts management, and I'm an artist manager too. So having a balance on everything would be great. Yeah.
Oh, what do you manage? What art groups do you manage?
Yeah, so I'm at Sheldon Artists. Until recently, I was managing a cellist named Luca Cutzia around Spain and Portugal. So I was helping her shape her career and also social media, which is becoming a very big, important part of artists in today's music world. So yeah, it is fun to be part of someone else's music career. It not only shapes them, but it also shapes you, and it helps you improve as an artist, but also as your own manager, because we all have to be sort of.
What have you learned doing that you would share?
I think musicians are not comfortable talking about themselves generally, and you sort of have to be able to sell your program, sell your music in a good way. Like, if you want to be a successful musician, you should be able to commit to your values and what you want to do on stage and be able to talk about it. So I think doing that for other artists has also helped me be more committed to what I do and what I want to do, and be able to find the words in order to make myself appealing to others, not only through my music, but also through my words, I guess.
That was really well said. I wonder sometimes, though, if wind players, people who play things that you blow into versus saw or this, but I think sometimes I wonder if wind players in particular have more of a difficult time being good communicators. I think they struggle with it because we express ourselves in such a nonverbal way so satisfactorily, or often so happily, hopefully, that we don't feel the need to develop that muscle. Do you think that ever?
I don't know if it's related to wind or strength. I think education is not yet shaped in order to actually like think of your music as a business. Like we need to live out of something. And we love arts, and it's not because they make money, right? But at the same time, if you want to have music as your, job or as your full-time source of income, we need to be able to talk about it. Otherwise, only playing, unless you become an orchestra musician and you have a full-time job there, I think it's really tough to actually make it happen, right?
So why do you think that is? I feel like musicians shouldn't really maybe be the wealthiest people in terms of the general population, but that they should be able to earn $100,000 or more. I feel like society desperately needs what we do. And I feel that there's this lack of connection around how to deliver value that will open up new audiences. And so at least that's what I've been working on. Like that's with our Working Musicians Academy, that's totally what I'm working on. I'm trying to help people understand that repair is a gateway to getting to know people, because when you fix something, when people come into our shop, they don't ever come by themselves. They come with their grandparents, they come with their dad, they come with their spouse, they come with their kids, and you wind up having a conversation, and they play the instrument in front of you, and they tell you about where they're going after they leave the shop, and you get to know them, and they start to feel like you're part of the music community, and that starts to open them up to new possibilities of whether it's coming to your concert, or whether it's taking private lessons, or whether it's considering buying a new instrument. You become a part of their ecosystem. And so there has to be new ways that we think about how we build relationships, because to me, the need is so great.
Yeah, I think it's really important to remind ourselves that music or art is not it's not meant to generate income, right? In the sense of like maybe science or other parts or business. Like,
see, I think it is. I think it actually is. I don't think it's meant to be like the star level of NASA or the star level of Taylor Swift, but I do think it's meant to be actually a very good income, because
need to make it happen. Yeah.
Right. I think that there's been this problem for way too long that we talk about this like we're not supposed to make money, but the reason we're not supposed to make money is because we haven't learned these other skills that will just naturally allow us to.
Yeah, I think it's because we don't talk about it enough.
Right.
Because we are always like, as a musician in performance, right? Performance decreased. It's all about the music, the beauty of music, the phrasing, the articulation. But it's like, yeah, but now I want to make a living out of this. How do I do it? Right?
Right.
So I think we need to shape education in that way, so we make sure that musicians can actually get a great income, because we actually can. We just don't have all the skills, or like we haven't learned them, or you learned them along the way. But I think it would be great to get those earlier in our career.
To me, it would be really easy. They just need to teach community organizing.
Fair, yeah.
I mean, really, like, because if a musician understood that they could be king or queen or they of their hill, right? And they could bring people together, because musicians are naturally conveners. Like, we're very good at bringing people together through nonverbal and verbal, like ways of participating. And my goodness gracious, could we change the world just by bringing people together? People just need to sit next to each other and breathe.
And talk to each other, yeah.
Talk to each other about the weather, instead of like being like in their phone.
Yeah, there's such a need for community and connection. And I think music is a really good way to actually make that happen.
It is, because it gives you something to do, because people are uncomfortable with the activity. And so it helps you, because we all have to get over that. We're so used to just being like, oh, it's cool. Whoever I sit next to, it's all good, whether I like them or whatever, it's fine. But other people are very uncomfortable. I have to do this weird thing in front of you and I don't know you. And, you know?
Yeah, that's great. And musicians get comfortable in these maybe weird situations because we're used to performing in front of people that we don't know. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they will enjoy it or not. So I think we actually have those skills. We just need to get out there and make it happen.
Well, we need to have a reason to do them so that we actually can get compensated, because we all are generous of spirit. It just has to it all has to tie together.
Yeah, definitely.
So your background is so incredibly rich, and you teach basically you're teaching university students. Is it mostly undergraduate or graduate students?
Mostly undergrad, and they're non-majors. So we're still growing the program. I started recently this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's great.
And you're learning about recruiting too, I bet.
Oh yeah.
That's fascinating. And what kind of music do you play? What kind of groups are? I know you said you managed an artist, but what about yourself? What are you doing?
So I mostly play classical and contemporary music. I have a saxophone quartet here, and we mostly do community engagement concerts at the hospitals, retirement homes, and basically for the community. And then I also have a saxophone duo, like saxophone and piano. We recorded our debut album 2 years ago, and it's hopefully getting published soon.
Awesome.
Yes, it's a long process.
Yeah.
So that's mostly.
That's fantastic. If somebody was listening to this and loved our story and conversation and what you had to say, what would you tell them to try to play a wind instrument, like right now? Like try tomorrow. What would you tell them to do?
With saxophone or any sort of?
Anything. In other words, our whole purpose of our podcast is to try to inspire people who are not musically inclined or always wish they could, and they think we're special. And try to help them understand how easy it is and how simple a reason it is. Your dad, your grandparent played the saxophone. So you saw a pretty shiny poster on the wall, whatever it is, right? So what could we do to encourage those people to create a new participant?
Yeah, for sure. So funny enough, you talk about my dad. My dad has never been a musician. He just retired a few months ago. And my grandpa's saxophone is at home in Barcelona. And one day my mom sends me a picture of my dad holding my grandpa's saxophone with an embouchure. And I was like, he's never played music. He doesn't read music. And like, he was able to make a sound. He could only make one sound because like he did not know any fingerings. But what I want to say is that I think saxophone is a very easy instrument to start with. I don't mean to say that it's an easy instrument, but to make like the first sound, I think it's one of the easier instruments in the wind family. So I would definitely encourage people to just like grab the cheapest saxophone you can find. A mouthpiece that works, a reed that you can actually put it there and it's not broken. You don't need incredible material to have fun with it. Of course, if you want to become a professional, it's another world, right? But we also should be able to enjoy music and just have fun. And I think saxophone is one of the probably best instruments in my opinion, because the first sounds come pretty quickly. I'm not going to say it's going to sound great, but it's an easy sort of reward. And I mean, my dad just retired, 60-year-old, could make a sound. So I guess a lot of people could do the same. And he doesn't have any background in music.
And if you like those early squawks or those sounds you get, and it's kind of exhilarating to do it, just look up online and see if you can find somebody local to just show it to. You don't even have to commit to paying to fix it, but just figure out what it is. Because we've had lots of people, like, they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I just want to get this a little better. And not that you want to do, less than a full job to restore an instrument as a qualified repair technician, but sometimes people will go further if you just help them in shorter increments. In other words, okay, this really needs $1,000 worth of work, but if I do these 6 pads or these 2 things and charge you way less, it'll get you further, and then you're going to have to come back. And I know that's but sometimes that's how you entice them, because they're like, oh, that's not too much money. Okay, sure, I'll waste that to see if I like this some more, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to help them work their way back because I think pawn shop and we call them attic or closet instruments are very common. And that's a great way to start.
Yeah. They don't cost a lot of money and it gets you in the loop. And if you enjoy it more, then you're probably more willing to invest more.
What would you tell them to do next if they do that?
Um, Most probably trying to get a teacher or like I'm not a huge fan of looking up videos on YouTube on how to play instruments, but making sure that what you're doing is not going to harm yourself. Because if you don't have the right embouchure, you might hurt your lip. If you're not holding the saxophone the right way, you might get tendinitis. So making sure that you're spending some time, if you're spending some time with the instrument, to make sure what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, get someone to help you.
Yep. And there's surely somebody who plays the saxophone in your community. 100%.
Yeah, that's not going to be an issue.
Not at all. Maria, it's been such a delight. I appreciate you.